What's up, One Piece fans? It's time for the latest review for the next piece of One Piece. Chapter 1106, entitled On Your Side. Just like Nationwide, they will always be on your side. Suffice it to say that this chapter is pretty good just right out of the gate. Just going to say it. And something very exciting happened this chapter. Vegapunk actually made a brain move. An intelligent move. A forward-thinking move. Granted, I saw a few people bring up initially when the chapter dropped, and a couple people I know and a couple people I didn't know. I saw more than one person mention this. This isn't just one person. But I saw a few people mention this after I read the chapter, the day of and now today and stuff like that. I did see a few people bring up the fact that this forward thinking of Vegapunk might have been useful a little bit earlier than this, but we'll get to that. I didn't have the opportunity. As I said, I've said in the reviews this week, my stress level is sort of 110%. It's past the screen. It's hitting the ceiling, right? For a multitude of reasons. But suffice to say, so I didn't personally have time to go back through a bunch of the Egghead, stuff like that, or have time to go on Reddit and stuff, or Discord or whatever to try to look into what people are saying or any evidence or what chapter this might have been useful. But what were we talking about? Well, the fact of the matter is that I have argued when this first came out, the whole authority chip thing, right? I argued the forward thinking of Vegapunk. It was just another nail in the Vegapunk is not that bright coffin, right? And he's not a forward thinker. He's naive as hell. He's supposed to be this big brain scientist, but the problem is, and I think I can finally, in video game, RPG, Dungeon Dragon sort of terms, I can explain finally away. His intelligence may be the highest of any One Piece character, but his wisdom is way at the bottom. The most unwise character. And that is a huge, a massive, con to the intelligence stat, right? You sort of have to work those in tandem in a lot of RPGs, Strength and constitution go together, right? Dexterity, charisma, they usually go together. Intelligence, wisdom, they go together. So, and this is just a general rule, but that is the problem with Vegapunk. It's not that how is Vegapunk so smart, yet so stupid at the same time? How does he not think? Because most of the stuff and all those nails, and the Vegapunk is not that smart, not that bright, really causing a lot of the grief of multiple characters and multiple problems. He's caused it himself by just not using the supposed massive brain he has. It's all down to the fact that he lives completely in the present, damn the consequences. It's right up into the, and I've brought this up before, it's right up into the Ian Malcolm thing from Jurassic Park. Your scientists are so preoccupied whether they can do something, they lose the sight of questioning, just because we can do it doesn't mean that we should, right? There's a lot of that. In Vegapunk. He sort of emanates that completely. But here, with the authority chip thing, it's finally been brought up that in this chapter, and it was a great moment, and Vegapunk finally, because we know Vegapunk does absolutely have feelings, and he's not a bad person or anything. He's no judge or Caesar clown or whatever, but he's got no insight, no forward thinking, no, just none of that. That's why all these bad things happen. Like a good idea ends up being corrupted, and he goes along with it, and I've argued, why didn't you program in a backdoor? You're supposed to be the smartest guy in the world, and all this stuff. Why not figure it out? If you can build 6 androids of yourself, why can't you figure out a way to maybe not give the world government complete control over this massive army to apparently replace warlords and all this stuff? And he did. Bonnie has supreme authority, even past the Gorosei, over not just Kuma, but all the PXs, right? Like the beginning of this chapter, we get the cover page with a crocodile, and I sort of, ironically, and I'm stealing this from Tekken, I didn't even think of this, but a crocodile and Robin together again! Crocodile and Robin together again. And it's like, okay, that's cool. That's exciting. Obviously, it's not crocodile as we know him, but I didn't even think of the implications of that. And then we see that Luffy has turned back into Gear 5th as the Buster Call is going on. That's when we jump away to this big scene. There's double spreads and all that stuff, where Vegapunk has a bit of an inner monologue, and he explains that it kept him up at night and stuff. And it's like, there's a lot of things that should keep you up at night. But at the very least, he's like, the thought that one day, not just your father, but someone with your father's face would kill you when it found you were a pirate and all this stuff, right? They would send the PXs after you, and you would die at the hands of someone with, your father's clones, your father's cyborgs sort of idea. He couldn't live with himself, so he managed to pull one over on Saint Saturn and make it so that Bonnie had supreme authority over and told no one, with the hierarchy of the authority chips. No, the authority chips are meaningless when it's Bonnie's orders, and they can't be overridden for the entire PX lineups. Really cool. One issue with that is, could this have, and I sort of brought this up, could this have been utilized earlier on in the arc? And as I said, I haven't had time to go through. I saw other people comment this. In my own Discord, I saw that, I think today or yesterday, but I saw people commented the moment the chapter dropped. I saw people in on Reddit, I saw people on BDA and stuff. Just quick, when the chapter first drops, I try to gather a little bit of information on how people's initial thoughts are, and so it's not really an original thought or anything, but I haven't personally had time to go back and check all the Egghead, since the PX have arrived or anything like that. I haven't had time to see if maybe this could have brought up before, and maybe we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now had Bonnie known about this previously. But either way, that's sort of minor. The fact is, this is the first instance that Vegapunk has actually had a little bit of that supposed more intelligence than anybody else in the verse, and we actually got to see a little, just a tiny nugget of forward thinking from him. So I will just give him props. Yeah, there might be a minor this might have been useful a little bit earlier, Vegapunk, but the fact that he at least had the forward thinking to have somebody be able to supersede the Gorosei with the PXs, at least he did that much, okay? And he, as I said, he goes on with this whole thing and stuff like that, and he knows what the consequences are, and he says it, and this is what I think is bothering people, is that he says this and makes sure that this is known in a situation where he's defenseless, Saturn's there, ready to completely, and it just runs him right through, right? Vegapunk takes a very potentially lethal, hit right through the, the chest area, the stomach and stuff from one of Saint Saturn's, I don't know what you'd call them, stinger leg thingy, spider leg thingies, and he goes, I knew that this secret would have consequences, and that there would be, there'd be no mercy shown for me and all this stuff, right? But the funny thing is, so it will be interesting if I ever have time, and I don't know when that'll be, but if we go back and we can find a better instance when this information would have been helpful, it could have been used, and because it's a little convenient that he brings this up to do a noble sacrifice when it's like, had you told Bonnie this previously, maybe you wouldn't have had to be stabbed and completely defenseless and surrounded by enemies at the moment, had Bonnie known 5 minutes earlier, So that sort of takes away a little bit from it, because it's like, it's supposed to be this noble sacrifice of Vegapunk that he finally proved he did one intelligent thing in the entire story, and it cost him his life to reveal it. And it's just like, well, what? So we'll have to wait and see if there actually was a better opportunity for this and yada yada before we make full judgment calls. But that's the big bulk of the chapter stuff, right? Vegapunk has taken a very potentially mortal wound, and Bonnie has complete control of the PXs, and Saint Saturn orders Kizaru to go after Bonnie. It's like, Kizaru, get off your ass and start attacking everyone. So Kuma, Bonnie, Sanji, Adam, they're all getting attacked and stuff like that. And he goes up there to just get rid of Bonnie and Kuma with one blow of his light sword. And this is where another double page spread. Boom, Luffy comes in, gear 5th, slam, armored hockeyed up, completely slams, blindsides Kizaru, and slams him right down back into the building. We see Kizaru is down once again, just going, oh man, that kid packs a wallop, like holy shit. Now, of course, power scaling wise, I'm not going to say anything about this because so many people get on these agendas, right? And it's getting a little exhausting. Thankfully, as I said, other than initially checking like Discord and Reddit like once a day on the things that I follow. I've been very sort of offline and stuff for the most part, and I'm actually preferring it that way in a sense. So, but I know so many people over the course of this Egghead thing has been like, and it's still going on, right? But Kizaru takes one hit, goes down. Okay, Luffy's the greatest. Gear 5th, one shot Kizaru. Kizaru's trash. Okay, Kizaru manages to keep up with Gear 5th. Admirals, can keep up with Gear 5th. Admirals and Yonko's similar level, blah, blah, blah. And it just keeps going. So now this chapter, it's going to be, a fully recovered Luffy with a Gear 5th punch. Completely not even Conqueror's Hockey. And it took down Kizaru. One shot. Everyone's, so it's going nuts. Like right now from last chapter, I seem to remember that everyone's like, Zoro's not so impressive. Get out of here. Zoro can't take on Yonko. Zoro can't take on Admiral. Zoro can't do this just because he didn't one-shot Lucci, who, once again, has been, for a lot of reasons, why Lucci... And remember, Zoro beat up Mihawk Seraphim. Can we acknowledge that he fought against the thing that scared and beat back Blackbeard? So, wait a minute now. Let's backtrack that. You know what I mean? So it's just impossible to deal with it right now. There's too many power scaling conversations. There's too much stuff going on. So all I enjoyed was the fact that Luffy showed up to save Kuma and Bonnie. Because I really want them to have a moment left. Because we still don't know what that the Buccaneers thing from last chapter. Remember when Vegapunk brought up, wait a minute, could this be the Buccaneers ... and we have no idea what special ability that Vegapunk conveniently forgot that makes Kuma still able to go and rescue Bonnie and protect Bonnie and all this stuff. We don't know what that is. This whole authority chip thing is not the reason. The authority chip is a separate thing, so we still don't know the reason. So I definitely want Kuma and Bonnie to escape, of course, on the Thousand Sunny. Get away from here, that kind of deal, right? And it looks like they might actually be able to, because after this, Luffy claims he's at full power and all this stuff, and now Bonnie has now seen... Oh, and the Iron Giant thing starts to wake up, because of course Nika is here. The Sun God Nika is he's back, and where all of the great advancements in technology and stuff that Vegapunk reverse engineered, the great giant there, he is starting to stir, Creek and Volman. It looks like he's coming online in a way, right? So they managed to get to Vegapunk and stuff like that, and they're trying to... So Vegapunk's not dead yet. He does not die this chapter. They're trying to make sure that, we gotta get going, we gotta get out of here and stuff, and we gotta patch you up. This is where Vegapunk basically tells Bonnie, look up that rhythm. Have you connected the dots yet, Bonnie? Straw Hat Luffy is the Sun God Nika and stuff, and she's remembering all the, it's the same sound that her father taught her, Nika, that's right. Here he is, and that kind of idea. And said Kuma was right. Here, that boy, Dragon's son, is Straw Hat, a Buster Call is not a big deal for him. This is the arrival. This is what people have been waiting for hundreds of years for. The savior, Sun God Nika, is back. He's reborn. And even Kuma is inspired, just like the Iron Giant notices and hears it. So does Kuma, and Bonnie is recognizing that my father's beliefs were real. It's one of those things where, not to get super religious to any degree, but it's sort of like having a loss. I would assume, because right now Bonnie has been going through a bit of a loss or a questioning of faith. My friend, I have a really good friend, one of my best friends, if not my best friend. He went through a bit of a, I wouldn't call it midlife crisis because we're only in our early 20s, but he went through a questioning of his own faith. He was raised a Christian, blah, 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 and he had to go on a bit of a, I know it sounds cheesy, but a spiritual journey. So he left Canada and he went on a bit of a retreat with a bunch of other Christians and stuff like that, and did this whole thing. And he came back with a renewal in his faith sort of idea, So I feel like this is the same thing, is that it's when you're down and you start questioning your faith, you get that rejuvenation, you get that not like proof or confirmation, just this feeling of, it's all, I don't know, it's just really nice from Bonnie's perspective, because remember what, like, when Saturn was holding her and stuff, it's like Nika and blah blah blah, and she was starting to lose her will and lose her faith in that maybe Nika will never come, maybe he won't come in this, you know, it wavers, her faith wavered, and now it's going to be stronger than ever, you know, because her father was right. He's been proven correct. He wasn't just full of fairy tales and stuff like that, you know? So, and once again, if Bonnie's supposed to be like 12 or 14 right now, she's still very impressionable. She's still a kid, and, you know, so that's just, it was quite a nice scene. As I said, these double spreads here have been fantastic. And then the last double page, we got a lot of double pages this chapter. The last double page is this giant ass ship. See what I did there? This giant ass ship shows up and just mows through a bunch of the Buster Call ships and stuff like that, and they're just wondering, what the hell? They haven't been seen for 100 years. I thought they died. Why are they here now? And they just crash right in and they try to fire, and that's why the giants, Dory and Broggy, have, and we saw them already in Elbath and stuff, and we don't know why they're here. Like, did they confirm their duel? Like, did they decide, or did Shanks show up? Like, when did they leave? I don't think we have that information, you know? Like, it was great to see them in Elbath, and I think I brought that up before, but it's like, did somebody win the duel? Because you both look like you have all your limbs, and you're both alive, so did they decide on a winner? And if they decided on a winner, who won? And if not, did Shanks basically show up and go, guys, we're going to need you in the new world. You got to leave, little guy. You go, can we hit timeout, hit pause? You can resume this after we deal with some shit. Maybe? It's possible. I have no honest idea what happened there. I honestly think maybe I don't think they gave up their duel. I really do think they hit pause. I don't think anybody won. I don't think their duel is over. I think that either Shanks, most likely Shanks, but it could have been anybody. Really, it could have been anybody that they're well versed with or something like that basically showed up. It could have been Bartolomeo. You know? Bartolomeo and them could have been like, we heard about you guys from, you know, the Straw Hats. It's like, they are going to need your help. We're all needing your help right now, because they literally have come here to pick up Straw Hat Luffy. They're here to pick up Straw Hat. They're not here just because, oh, we just wanted to show up and we heard that one of the Gorosei was here and we want payback. No, they are specifically here. They knew that Luffy was on Egghead, and they specifically went there. And we know that Egghead and Elbath are quite close. So they just sailed on after the incident with Kid and Killer and stuff with Shanks. And Dorian Bry said, yeah, we'll go pick up Luffy. And they just show up, and the giant pirates are officially revived. They're back. We don't know if any of the other, their old crew or any other giants joined them. We only see the two of them on this big-ass Viking-like ship. But it's so cool to see that they're here, and they've been told that he's the Sun God, because he said, we're here to pick up Straw Hat, or should we call him Sun God now, you know? And they're looking happy and stuff, and of course, we know that the giants, they are also Nika, or Sun God worshippers, right? We know this. So, this whole thing that everyone's accepting Luffy is Nika the Sun God. That's his Gear 5th turns him into, at the very least. Whether you consider him Sun God Nika outside of Gear 5th, that's another conversation, sort of splitting hairs realistically. But either way, regardless which way you look at it, most people are now acknowledging the worshippers of Nika, the ones who believed in the Joy Boy. We can assume that Joy Boy is also Sun God Nika. I don't think that's been confirmed, you know, but apparent, you know, that's a lot of people's popular theory, and it's got a lot of weight to it. But he's here, and now it's like, all right, let's see what they're gonna do. So there is a break next week, but it was a really good chapter to end on and stuff like that, or a good page, double page with Dorian Bry showing up. Like, all right, we're here to pick up Straw Hat. What are you gonna do about it? You know, and we've seen their power in the Kid and Killer fight with Shanks and stuff like that. We've seen Dorian and Broggy are certainly no slouches. We saw this power and ability on Little Garden when they worked together. A lot of people are going to say that they, you know, how does the power scaling and stuff work? And I'm just like, I don't know, go back and read Little Garden and just try to, I don't know, justify it as best you can. You know, maybe they were, you know, they were sort of like, you know, they were sort of slacking in their skills. And maybe now over the time, we don't know when they showed back up on Elbath. Maybe now they're sort of like, you know what? Let's get back in our prime. Let's go back to our fighting prime. And maybe they're a lot stronger when they work together. Clearly, when they do their combined attacks and stuff. So, either way, because that's another complaint I saw. I saw that. Those were the two. I saw the complaint. I saw the whole one-shot Kizaru again thing. I saw the with the Bonnie knowing about the authority chip be more crucial earlier. And how are Dorian Bry this damn strong? You know, you could also at the very end chalk it up to the same reason why Crocodile's still a goat. You know, Oda has said apparently that he introduced him way too early into the story. Remember, at the time, One Piece was only supposed to go on for like 5 years. He did not expect this to be a quarter of a century story. You know, so some liberties just need to be taken with the idea that Oda just didn't come up with it, think about it, that kind of stuff before. And yeah, so either way, I'm good with it because I've always loved Dorian Bry. I think they're really cool characters. Giants are generally cool and stuff like that. So yeah, and I really think it'll be cool if Dorian Bry show up. So this is a Gorosei. You look like a giant insect. Boom. You know, like someone of equal size or bigger. You know, because I'm pretty sure Dorian Bry are bigger than Saint Saturn right now. So it'd be interesting to see them roll up and basically be like, oh, it's a giant insect. Well, here's my fly swatter. Boom. You know, that would be quite interesting because we know that giants are generally, in most mythologies and most stories and fiction and stuff, they tend to be more physically resilient. You know, they're also sort of like dwarves as well. They're always usually a little bit more resistant to magic and stuff like that. So maybe they've got a better shot of dealing with whatever voodoo that Saturn was doing to lock everybody in lockjaw for a while, or sleep paralysis, whatever he was doing. But anyways, yeah, that's it from me. What do you guys think of the chapter? As I said, break next week, so we'll have to see you back here the week after for the next chapter of One Piece. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and one other thing. Apparently, chapter 116 was entitled Giants or Giant, and now 1106 is On Your Side. So, cool little Easter egg. Was probably intentional by Oda. He probably just thought, I'm going to call this chapter On Your Side as a gag to, you know, because he likes to do that. Oda likes to put in little Easter eggs like that, so I think that was intentional, or maybe that was just a happy coincidence. Either way, because potentially On Your Side might change in the official translation. I don't know. Have to wait and see. But yeah, so far it works out. Sounds pretty cool. But that's it for me, guys. Have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe. Sayonara.